Ever feel like, no matter how much you clean your home, never stays tidy? You start folding clothes, wiping counters, and arranging shelves. But a few days later, the same clutter is back, that pile of papers on the table, that forgotten mug in the corner. It's overwhelming, and sometimes even the smallest chores can leave you feeling stressed and drained. In today's world, our living spaces are often small, yet we somehow accumulate more stuff than we have room for. It's a struggle. Many of us face too many belongings, not enough space, and no idea where to start. In this video, I want to share practical decluttering tips and proven strategies to keep your home clean, organized, and manageable, all without spending hours every day tidying up. These are methods I've personally tried and applied, and they've transformed my own home. Now my space feels lighter, cleaning is faster, and I have more time to relax, and my mind feels calm and happy too. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover simple rules and tricks that make decluttering feel effortless. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel so you won't miss future tips and secrets for maintaining a truly harmonious home. For years, I thought cleaning up simply meant putting things back in order. I would spend hours folding clothes, arranging shelves, and wiping surfaces until everything looked picture perfect. But after a few days, the same clutter would slowly creep back in, a pile of papers here, a forgotten mug there, and before long, my home looked exactly like it did before. I couldn't understand why my space refused to stay tidy no matter how much effort I put in. Then one afternoon, while sitting on my couch surrounded by things I didn't even use, it finally hit me. The real problem wasn't that I was disorganized, it was that I had too much stuff. That realization was both shocking and liberating. I had been cleaning the surface of the problem, not the root of it. I didn't need more storage boxes or organizing tricks. I needed less. Less clutter, less chaos, less distraction. I started going through my belongings slowly, piece by piece. I asked myself simple but powerful questions. Do I really need this? When was the last time I used it? And most importantly, does it make my life easier or heavier? It wasn't easy at first. Some things carried memories. Others gave me guilt because I spent money on them. But as I let go, something beautiful happened. I began to feel lighter. My home started to breathe again, and so did I. I realized that clutter isn't just about objects, it's also emotional. Every item we keep takes up mental space too. That drawer full of random cables, that closet bursting with clothes we never wear, they silently drain our energy. Letting go taught me that I wasn't losing anything important. I was gaining peace. Now when I clean, it no longer feels like a tiring chore. My home stays tidy because everything in it truly belongs there. I've learned that cleanliness isn't about perfection, it's about harmony. It's about creating a space that supports you instead of overwhelming you. And maybe that's what decluttering is really about, not just cleaning your house, but clearing your mind. When you start removing what no longer serves you, you make space for what truly matters: comfort, clarity, and calm. If this story resonated with you, don't miss tomorrow's video. I'll be sharing the most common decluttering mistake that almost everyone makes without realizing it. It's a simple shift that completely changes how you keep your home organized, and trust me, you'll want to know this one. Once I understood that decluttering isn't about just cleaning, I began to notice something remarkable. The less I owned, the lighter I felt, not just in my home, but in my mind. That's when I discovered how life truly changes when you embrace less. Let's dive into what I call the magic of living with less clutter and more calm. There's a quiet kind of magic that happens when you finally start living with less. I used to believe that having more meant being more options, more comfort, more joy. But somewhere along the way, all those things started to weigh me down. Every shelf was full, every drawer packed tight, and every corner whispered, "You should clean me again." My home looked fine on the outside, but inside it was exhausting. Then one weekend, I made a decision that changed everything. I started removing, not rearranging. I took out every item in my closet and faced the truth: I owned more clothes than I could ever wear, yet I still felt like I had nothing to wear. So I let go of half of them, the ones that didn't fit, didn't feel like me, or simply hadn't been touched in years. What surprised me most wasn't how much space I gained, but how much lighter I felt inside. With fewer things, daily life became smoother. Cleaning stopped being a huge task that required hours. It became a simple, natural part of my day. I no longer needed 10 different baskets organizers or fancy storage boxes. I only needed space for what I truly used. Suddenly, wiping down a counter or folding laundry didn't feel like work. It felt like maintenance for peace. The less I owned, the more I began to see and appreciate the things that remained. My kitchen counters stayed clear, my shelves finally had breathing room, and my mind followed suit. There was no longer a constant mental list of things to put away or corners to fix. My space started reflecting how I wanted to feel: calm, simple, and intentional. Living with less isn't about deprivation. It's about liberation. It's learning to trade the illusion of more for the reality of enough. When you own fewer things, you gain more freedom, more time to rest, more space to think, and more clarity about what truly matters. Every item you choose to keep becomes a conscious choice, not a burden. So if your home feels heavy, start small. Open one drawer, one shelf, one closet. Ask yourself, do I really need all this? You'll be amazed how much lighter your life feels when you give yourself permission to let go. However, there was one mistake I kept making, and maybe you have too. Even with fewer things, I found myself rearranging endlessly, thinking I was decluttering. But I soon realized that cleaning and rearranging are not the same as simplifying. Let me explain the difference and how this insight changed everything for me. Every weekend, I would pull everything out of drawers, wipe the shelves, and carefully put things back into labeled boxes and matching baskets. It looked tidy for a while, but after a few days, the same mess slowly returned. The boxes filled up again, the drawers got heavy, and I was back where I started. One day, it finally hit me. I wasn't decluttering. I was decorating my chaos. True decluttering isn't about finding new ways to store things. It's about removing what no longer serves you. There's a big difference between organizing and simplifying. Organizing deals with where to put things. Decluttering asks why you even have them. When we spend hours stacking and labeling unnecessary items, we're not solving the problem, we're simply disguising it. It's like sweeping dust under a rug. It looks clean, but the mess is still there, quietly waiting to return. I remember when I first realized this truth. I had spent half a day reorganizing my bathroom cabinet, proudly arranging every bottle and jar by height and color. A week later, it looked exactly the same as before, cluttered and crowded. That's when I realized the issue wasn't how I organized, but how much I was trying to keep. No matter how perfectly I arranged things, too much was simply too much. When I began letting go, I noticed something magical. Cleaning became faster. My shelves looked calmer. I no longer needed dozens of containers or fancy storage bins to control my space because I had less to control. Decluttering made my home easier to care for and gave me a sense of peace I didn't expect. There was more space to breathe, both in my home and in my mind. So now when I clean, I remind myself, my goal isn't to organize the clutter, it's to end it. Every time I remove something unnecessary, I gain back time, energy, and clarity. I've learned that lasting tidiness doesn't come from rearranging what you have. It comes from owning less to begin with. If you've ever wondered why your home never stays neat no matter how much you clean, maybe it's not your cleaning skills, it's the excess itself. The truth is simple. The fewer things you have, the easier life becomes. Don't aim to manage more. Aim to have less and watch how your home and your peace of mind transform. After learning that less is more, and that decluttering is about removing, not just moving, I faced another challenge. I often tried to tackle my entire home at once. That's when I discovered a method that keeps momentum alive without burning out, focusing on one corner at a time. There was a time when every time I decided to clean, I would try to tackle everything at once. The kitchen, the living room, the closets, even that mysterious drawer full of random things. Within an hour, the house looked like a storm had passed through, and I felt completely overwhelmed. By the end of the day, I was exhausted, frustrated, and surrounded by half-finished areas. It always ended the same way. I'd give up halfway, promising to finish tomorrow, which of course rarely came. It took me years to realize that the problem wasn't my motivation, it was my method. Cleaning and decluttering a home isn't about doing it all at once. It's about doing it one space at a time. Now I follow a simple rule that changed everything. Start small, finish completely. Instead of trying to clean the entire house, I choose one area, just one, and focus on it until it's fully done. Sometimes it's a single drawer, sometimes it's the kitchen counter or the bookshelf by the window. I remove everything clean, the space decide what to keep, and put back only what truly belongs there. When I finish, I take a moment to step back and feel the difference. That small sense of accomplishment gives me energy to move on to the next space later. It's like building momentum one clean corner at a time. What I've learned is that finishing one area completely is far more powerful than half cleaning the entire house. It creates visible progress, and that progress fuels motivation. You start seeing results, a clear desk, a calm kitchen shelf, and suddenly the idea of continuing doesn't feel heavy anymore. If you ever feel like cleaning is endless or too tiring, remember this: the key isn't speed, it's focus. Choose one spot and give it your full attention. Turn on your favorite music, light a candle, and make it enjoyable. The satisfaction you'll feel when that space is complete will carry you forward naturally. Decluttering isn't a race, it's a rhythm. When we work in small focused steps, our energy lasts longer, and the results stay longer too. Each completed area becomes a reminder that order is possible even in the busiest home. So next time you feel overwhelmed by the mess, don't look at the whole house. Look at one drawer, one shelf, one corner. Finish it fully and let that small success inspire your next one. That's how real lasting change begins quietly, one space at a time. Once I started working through spaces one at a time, another simple but powerful truth became clear. Every item needs a home of its own. This little principle changed the way my home functions daily, making organization almost effortless. I used to wonder why my home never stayed tidy no matter how often I cleaned. I would spend hours organizing only to find myself surrounded by clutter again. Just a few days later, keys missing chargers, tangled remote controls hiding somewhere under the couch. It felt like I was trapped in a loop of endless cleaning and searching. Then I discovered one simple truth that completely changed the way I keep my home organized. Every item needs its own home. The idea is simple but powerful. The A home for everything rule. Every single object in your house, no matter how small, should have a designated spot. When you finish using it, it goes right back there. Not later, not when I have time, but now. Once I started practicing this, I noticed how much smoother my daily life became. There was no more mental chaos, no more wasted minutes looking for things that should have been easy to find. Think about it. We often lose time not because we have too much to do, but because we spend it looking for things. Your keys should always live in a small tray by the door. Your glasses could rest in a soft basket on the coffee table. Your important papers can stay in one neat folder or a labeled document clip. These tiny systems seem trivial, but together they create an invisible order, a rhythm that keeps your space calm and your mind clear. The beauty of this principle is that it doesn't require perfection, just consistency. Once something has its place, your home almost organizes itself. Putting things away stops feeling like a chore. It becomes a natural habit. Cleaning up takes minutes instead of hours because everything already knows where it belongs. At first, it might take a bit of effort to set up. You'll need to walk around your home, decide where each category of items should live, and maybe invest in a few simple baskets or boxes. But once the system is in place, it will save you more time and energy than you can imagine. The real secret is not in how much you clean, but in how easily your home stays clean afterward. When everything has a home, your house feels different. It breathes. It becomes a space that welcomes you instead of overwhelming you. You walk in, and everything is where it should be. Peaceful, effortless, and truly yours. That's when tidiness stops being a battle and starts becoming a way of living. Having a place for everything helped, but I noticed clutter creeping back whenever I brought new things in. That's when I learned the one in, one out rule, a game changer for keeping my home balanced and peaceful. There was a time when I didn't even notice how quickly things piled up in my home. A new candle here, a cute basket there, a few just-in-case items, until one day I realized my drawers could barely close. That was the moment I discovered one of the most freeing truths about decluttering, the one in, one out rule. This simple rule means that every time something new enters your home, something old must leave. Bring in a new sweater. Donate an old one. Buy a new mug. Let go of the chipped one you never use. It's not about being strict or minimal to an extreme. It's about maintaining balance between what you own and the space you have. At first, it felt strange to let go of things as soon as I brought new ones in. But over time, I noticed something amazing. My home no longer felt cramped. Every object had its place, and I didn't have to fight clutter week after week. It felt like breathing fresh air after years of holding my breath. To make this rule work, I added a few small habits that changed everything. Before buying something, I write it down and wait 1 or 2 days. Often the excitement fades and I realize I don't actually need it. I also unfollowed most online shopping pages and deleted a few shopping apps. The less temptation I see, the more peaceful my mind and my home becomes. This one in, one out principle is not just about decluttering stuff, it's about decluttering your choices. It teaches you to be mindful of what truly adds value to your life. Now, when I bring something new into my space, I do it with intention and appreciation, not out of impulse or habit. Living with less doesn't mean living without joy. It means surrounding yourself only with what supports the life you want today. My home may not be perfect, but it finally feels like a place that breathes with me, calm, open, and full of room to live. All of these lessons, living with less, decluttering for real, finishing one area at a time, giving everything a home, and balancing new items led me to a final revelation. Tidiness isn't about perfection or pretty boxes. It's a mindset, a way of creating space that feels calm, intentional, and truly liberating. I believed that a tidy home meant having enough pretty boxes to hide all my mess. I thought if everything looked organized on the outside, then my home and maybe even my life would feel in control. But deep down, I knew it wasn't true. Behind those lids and baskets were piles of forgotten things I didn't use, didn't love, and often didn't even remember owning. One day, while rearranging yet another storage box, it finally hit me. Real tidiness isn't about hiding clutter, it's about letting go of it. That was the day I began to see cleaning in a completely new light. Decluttering isn't about forcing everything to fit or finding more space to store it. It's about choosing what truly deserves to stay. When you keep only what has meaning or purpose, your home transforms not just visually, but emotionally. It starts to breathe. I began small, one drawer, one corner, one shelf at a time. I touched every item and asked myself, does this still serve me? Does it bring me joy or ease? If not, I thanked it and let it go. It wasn't always easy, especially with sentimental items, but over time I realized that letting go is not losing, it's freeing. And something beautiful happened. As my home became lighter, so did my mind. I no longer felt weighed down by things I didn't need. Cleaning became less of a chore and more of a simple act of care, like tending to something that gives back peace in return. Now, my definition of a livable home is different. It's not the one filled with boxes labeled perfectly or hidden compartments that look Instagram-worthy. It's the one where every item has purpose, where space feels calm and intentional, and where I can breathe deeply without feeling the pressure to keep up with stuff. True tidiness, I've learned, isn't about perfection, it's about peace. When we live with less, we make room for what really matters: clarity, comfort, and a sense of freedom that no storage box can give. So those are the 5 decluttering tips and rules I follow to keep my home tidy, organized, and stress-free. By simplifying, reducing unnecessary items, and giving everything its place, housework feels lighter, and I have more time for myself and the things I truly enjoy. If you want to save time cleaning and keep your mind clearer, try applying the principles I shared in this video. They really make a difference. And don't miss my next video, where I reveal the biggest decluttering mistake almost everyone makes without realizing it. I promise this insight can completely change the way you organize your home, and you definitely don't want to miss it. It's packed with practical tips you'll actually need. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, because you deserve a home that feels light, calm, and easy to live in every day. Share these useful decluttering tips with your friends and family. Everyone can benefit from a simpler, more organized life.